Hi, this is Jimmy for the Productive Engineer, and today we're going to cover how to write inline equations inside of Notion. A lot of times you'll be working in Notion, and you'll want to be able to create a math equation, and document that. Maybe you're a math student in college or in high school. Maybe you just want capturing the odd equation, and you need a way to write that. Notion supports the Katex version of writing out equations, and I'm going to show you how to do that in this video, so stay tuned. Before we get started, if you like this video, please click the like button as it really helps out my channel. If you want to see more videos about Notion and other productivity apps, you really should be subscribing to this channel. This channel is all about how to make you better at these applications. If you check my channel out, you'll see that I have a Notion playlist, for example. And one of the main videos I highly recommend if you're new to Notion is to watch my beginner's guide to Notion, which I'll link to up above. And this video is a step-by-step video that takes you from not knowing anything about Notion all the way to being fully competent inside of Notion and being able to navigate Notion and use it to be productive. And lastly, if you want to be notified when I release videos, please click the bell. Thanks. Okay, let's get started. As you can see, I've opened up Notion to a sample page I'm going to use to show you how to write these various equations. And there's basically two ways you can create an equation inside of Notion. One is using the math block, and the other is to use the inline shortcut. And I'll show you the block first. So let's come down here. We'll just say heading 1, and we'll call it math block. And the way you invoke it is to type the slash, and then just type out math. And you'll see block equation, and then you'll see inline equation. I normally just use the inline equation, so I'm going to click that. And let's say I wanted to create a simple equation that was a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So the way I would do that is type a, the caret squared plus b caret 2 equals c caret 2. And as you can see, it shows me that documented in here. I hit done, and there it is. Now my equation is in there, and we're good to go. So that's one way I can do this. The other way, you can invoke equations is inline, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we'll do a heading here, and let's call this inline equations. And the way you do that is with the double dollar sign. So when you're creating an inline equation, you start it before you write the equation. You start with double dollar sign in the beginning and double easy for you to say double dollar sign in the beginning and double dollar sign at the end. So let's do the same equation. Writing the same equation as we did up above. I'll do double dollar sign a caret 2 plus b caret 2 equals c caret 2. And then when I double dollar sign it, you see it converts it into the equation. So that's one way to do it. But so I'm not going to show you all the functions in the Katex library. I'll actually leave a link to a great page on katex.org that shows you all the functions. So all the operators and math functions that you can do, you can write in Katex, and Notion supports that library. So anything that's in there should be doable in Notion. I'm just going to show you the most common ones because the ones I at least find myself occasionally writing, just to give you an idea of how you do various things inside of Notion for inline equations. So one of the common things we see a lot of times is fractions, right? You might be working with your kids on homework, you might be in college or high school, and you might be trying to, how do I write a fraction? So let's just create a little heading here and let's call it fractions. And let's come down here. We'll use the inline version, dollar to the dollar sign. And what you do is to create a fraction, you're actually using the frac function inside of that for Katex. So the way you indicate that is the slash frac and then your operators, your top and bottoms of your fraction. So let's say I wanted to write 1/2, 1 space 2, double dollar sign, and as you can see, I have that there. That's one way of doing it. Let's say I had a more complicated fraction where I wanted to do a over b plus 1. What I could do is same thing, dollar sign. A little bit different here. I'm going to use a bracket, and then I'm going to say a I'm going to put a space, and then I need to indicate that I want that value to be the above value. So I'll hit slash above. And then one of the parameters you can feed the above function is what point size you want that line to be between 1 and 2. So let's say I wanted to be a 2-point line. I can do 2pt, close the bracket, and then space, and then I can put my bottom value. In this case, we said it was going to be b plus 1, so I'll say b plus 1, and then I will close the bracket, because I remember I have my 2 brackets here for the 2-point, and I have a bracket at the beginning before A. I need to close it off, so I have the end bracket there, and then my double dollar sign. And as you can see, here it's A over B plus 1. And you notice that this line here is thicker than the one that was up here because it's a 2-point line. So if I were to come here, if I wanted to edit this, I can just click on it, and it shows me my values here. So let's say I wanted to make it a 1-point instead, and I hit OK. You see that line's thinner now, and if I came back here, and let's say I wanted to make it a 5-point, hit done. As you can see, that line's much thicker. So I'll just hit the undo, put it back to 1-point, and leave it, call it that. So that's how you do fractions. Another thing that we find ourselves doing a lot is square roots, right? You want to indicate a square root or even a cube root. And so let's just do that here real quick. And we'll type out square, and if I can do the and side, cube roots. And the way you do a square root is that it's also a function, so we can hit $sign as we always do to indicate that we're going to be doing an inline equation. Then we do the slash, and that would indicate we're doing a function. SQRT is the square root function, and then we're going to put bracket here, and let's say we want to do square root, we want to indicate the square root of 9, close bracket, and then $2 and as you can see, now it shows me the square root of 9 here. You could also do a variable here, so I could also do the same thing if we wanted to do like $sign slash square root, and then bracket, and let's say I wanted to do the square root of x, right? Close that off, $, and now I had the square root of x. See, so that's how you do square roots. Now, how do you do cube roots? Now, this is a little trickier, right? Because you would think, well, is there a cube root function? The answer is no. The way you indicate that you want the cube root, not the square root, is actually this way. I'm going to show it to you. So $sign, slash square root, just like before, but I'm going to do a brace, 3, close brace. That indicates that I'm using the square root function, but I'm passing in the 3 rather than a default 2, right? And to indicate it's a cube root. And then here, let's say I want to do the cube root of 27, and then close that off, and then $sign. As you can see, it indicates, you see that little 3 there that indicates it's a cube root. And it works the same way if you're doing like a variable. So $sign slash square root, brace 3, close brace, bracket, x, close bracket, $sign, x, enter, excuse me, and there you go. So far we've shown how you can do squares, we've shown fractions, square roots, and cube roots. One of the things that it's also supported is, let's say you need to indicate things like alpha and omega, right? So we can do a slash heading alpha slash omega, enter. And so to do alpha is really simple. You just do $sign again, or use the math block either way. The slash and just type alpha, and then $sign, and it gives you that alpha. You can also do an uppercase, and it changes it. So here, $sign slash capital ALPHA. Wow, I don't know how I got F in there. As you can see, big alpha. And let's say I wanted to do omega. I can just come down here, same thing, $sign slash omega, $sign, and there's omega. So you can, and there's a wide variety of symbols that you can end up, representing here. And I'll put the link into the supported functions and symbols and operators that are supported in the Katex library that Notion supports. The other thing we could do that gets a little interesting is colors. So let's say I wanted to write an equation that had a unique color scheme. So what I might do is a dollar sign, and I might do slash color bracket, and let's say I wanted to do it in red, and then close bracket space, and I could do like a squared plus b squared equals c squared, dollar sign, enter, and you can see my equation is now in red. So let's say I wanted to do a a box of text that had like a colored box. So like maybe like a blue box with like white text inside. So one of the things I can do is dollar sign slash color box, open bracket, the color I want, in this case blue, and then another bracket to indicate what I want to write. So I'll write blue box, close bracket, dollar sign, and as you can see, now I have a box with blue box in there inside of a blue box. The other thing you can do is size. So you can mess around with the size of your text. So let's say I wanted to write an equation, but I didn't want it to be this small. I can actually write it by simply doing dollar sign slash and then writing huge. So I can do capital H for huge here, and I'm going to show you why the capital H versus lowercase h in a second. A squared plus b squared equals c squared, dollar sign. And as you can see, it's a pretty big instantiation. Now, I'm going to show you what happens when I make this, don't capitalize it, slash huge a squared plus b squared equals c squared, dollar sign. As you can see, it's still big, not as big. So it's actually case sensitive, and you actually have huge and then large. And then I'm actually going to show you, large actually has three variations. It has large all caps, large with a capital letter, and then large all lowercase. So I'm going to show you each of those real quick. So let's do dollar sign slash large all caps space, and let's just do x equals 1, dollar sign. And you can see that one. And then I'll come down here, same thing, dollar sign, excuse me, slash large with just a capital L versus all caps, and then x equals 1, dollar sign. You see it's smaller. And then I can come down here one more time, dollar sign slash large all lowercase x equals 1, dollar sign, and you can see it's even smaller. So I recommend that you play with it. Check out the katex.org website that I'm going to show in the description of this video. And you know, if you're looking to basically write equations inside of Notion, you really should be using this functionality. It's really powerful, and hopefully this helps you out, especially if you're a student or an engineer or somebody that's in the math field, or even a high school student that's just trying to get through their homework and document it. I hope this video was enjoyable to you and helpful. If you like this video, please click that like button, because again, as I said earlier, it really does help my channel out with YouTube. If you're interested in learning more about Notion and other apps like Evernote, Todoist, and other productivity apps, you really should be subscribing to this channel. And lastly, if you want to be notified when I release new videos, please click the bell. And more lastly, if that even makes sense, leave me a comment. Are these videos helping you out? Is there any questions you have? Any feedback? Anything you'd like to see done? Any questions you're having? Leave me a comment. I read all my comments and I answer them. So please leave me a message in the comment section and I will respond back to you. Thanks.